Hi, my name's Geoff Smith. I'm based in the UK. I run an Earth observation consultancy called Spectro Natura. And within the EU Grassland Watch project, I'm actually providing some Earth observation support, but mainly dealing with communications and outreach and user engagement. Well, grasslands are vitally important habitats. We may see them every day as we walk through a city park or see animals grazing on them in the landscape, but they're also a massive source of biodiversity. They sequester carbon, and they also host a lot of ecosystem services such as water purification and providing pollination plants for pollinating insects and therefore feed for bees and other insects. Within EU Grassland Watch, in our first version, we actually processed all the satellite imagery ourselves, and we didn't use any CLMS products to any extent. But in our second version, we've adopted the HRVPP, the Vegetation, Phenology and Productivity layer. And so we're now incorporating that into our assessment of grass productivity and management. Unfortunately, the new VLCC layers, which came along with the grassland mowing indicator, came too late for us to incorporate into our current version. But if there's a version 3 of EU Grassland Watch, we'll certainly want to adopt as many Copernicus land monitoring service layers as possible so that we can then have consistency across applications and across use cases in Europe. Hopefully it will give a very useful tool set for people who are responsible for land management at the sort of more the regional local level, so that they can then use Earth observation in a much more operational context. Up until this point, usually people had to buy or obtain imagery and process it themselves, whereas we're providing end products and insights that they can then use to improve their management without having to go through that steep learning curve or costs associated with doing lots of image processing themselves. I think the important thing about the GA, is that it's becoming more and more mainstream. The Copernicus land monitoring services. I think the fact that they in the past they were quite experimental, and it's taken a while for the Sentinel data sets to come online, and now we have a long time series of information we can build products on. It's now becoming a lot more mainstream, and I asked the question the other day about when will Copernicus be the go-to data source for environmental monitoring, and I think that time is coming closer and closer. So each one of these GAs, I think we see that we've moved further down that line. Oh my God, I am terrible at identifying. I'd say buttercups then. My favourite grassland wildflower is buttercups because I have some growing in my own garden now, which I've turned into a wildflower meadow, and I was so pleased when I saw them appear.